Greetings, neighbors! I am Random Hero. I'm the first of a new species of Homo sapien. We are called Homo narrative, and my story is called A-Tension. Part 1. This sculpted narrative goes out to all the giants upon whose shoulders I stand. If I can see further, it is only because of their storied vision. Let me start with Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was one of the great communicators of science in the 20th century and a true genius of mind. I'm neither a theoretical physicist nor a genius, but I will try and communicate his message as best I can. Richard Feynman talked about the problems people have with understanding. Students of physics do not understand physics. The students don't understand physics because the professors don't understand physics. This is not a joke. It is, however, remarkably interesting. What professors do is teach students how to describe physical phenomena through an enormously intricate system of tricks and gimmicks. Students spend many years learning to count numbers through complex methodology in order to describe physical phenomena very precisely. But when you ask a physicist why, they don't understand any better. Even with a PhD, they still don't understand any better. A theoretical physicist has no more deep understanding of the world than an infant child does. What scientists can do, what artists can do, and what the people at large can do is describe the world using words and symbols. It is not for us to tell nature how she is. Observe her for yourself and learn from her in your own way. So relax, because nobody understands it. The calling is to look at the multiplicity of hierarchies and draw the connections ourselves. It is up to me to connect the beauty with the physics, to connect the history with the human psychology, to connect with the art with the culture, and to connect the oppression with the institutions that propagate it. Up and down, back and forth, both ways. But to walk off the pier in one direction only, hoping in that direction is a complete understanding, is a mistake. However, you will get no direction from me. I went to the Richard Feynman School of Physics, I went to the Hannah Arendt School of Revolution, and I went to the KRS School of Philosophy. The future is fundamentally unknowable and unwritten. This is something like a fact, if we still believe in such things as facts. We are not safe. We are not secure. None of us. So are we comfortable? Are we comfortable? Some of us are. So I went to my church and I asked them why, and they could not answer me. I went to my school and I asked them why, and they could not answer me. I go to work and I ask them why, and they cannot answer me. I go to the politicians and I ask them why, and they cannot answer me. I go to my family, I go to my friends, I go to the people, and they answer me. You answer me, and we understand each other. We are better off than they, for they know nothing but think that they know. We neither know nor think that we know. And in this latter particularly, we have slightly the advantage. Thank you for listening.
From London to Ballymena, somewhere I lost my heart. As the soft rain keeps falling, I'm falling all apart. Along these castle hallways, day by day I roam. They say the devil is the distance, and I am far from home. From my lookout window, this castle of grey stone sits among the green hills like a giant all alone. A garden down below me, apples, herbs, and pear, mazes made of hedges, an empty bench, a chair. I cannot sleep, I walk out beyond the castle wall. Moonshine lights these green hills where no shadows ever fall. No sycamore or great oak planted by a hand. Just the wild, wild heather, a purple sea on land. A cottage without windows, I pass along the moor. Firelight and voices seep out the cottage door. Singing and laughter, and I feel so all alone as I wander in the darkness along this rutted road. My son of only 6 years, sent far away to school. He came back in December, so distant and so cool. While my heart is breaking, his heart turns to stone. Yes, the devil is the distance between a heart and home. We built this British Empire with strong hands and strong minds. But for many with strong head and hand, the heart is far behind. Our guns and our machinery, we think we are the best. Yet I wonder as I wander that I can get no rest. They say that hope is the anchor of the soul. Well, I hope I can hang on to a story I was told, that hearts are like castles made of sand, and they crumble into nothing without a loving hand. So from the garden at night, some apples I will steal and leave them on a doorstep of a family with no meal, and try to beat the devil so he can't get to me, and keep my heart from breaking in this home across the sea. Thank you.
There was this poet, Tang Dynasty poet, is like 4th century China, Tao Yuan Ming, probably butchering his name. And he was a poet writing pieces about his life, and at the end of his life of poetry, politics, and many other things, he settled just outside the bustling city. And so I made a few goes at translation of his piece, and saw what transformations could come from that. And I was working with the most fundamental, rudimentary translation possible, that I could find at least. And so it goes like this. Settle home in person place, but no cart, horse, noise. Ask gentlemen how able so, heart, far place, self-partial. Pluck chrysanthemum east hedge down, leisurely look south mountain, mountain air day night beautiful, fly birds together return. This here have clear meaning, wish argue already neglect speech. So that's what I have to work with. And it's called Drinking Wine number 5. And I'll read a few of the transformations. I set my hut near the road. Silence prevails, despite the carts and horses. In response to a logical query, the unconflicted heart is never lonely. I pluck a chrysanthemum by the eastern hedge. My leisure finds the mountains to the south, the air that circles beauty night and day, while birds wander home to roost together. Though some meaning seeks to invade my speech, another grace saves perfection from babble. I set my hut near the road. Silence prevails despite the carts and horses. In response to a logical query, the unconflicted heart is never lonely. I pluck a chrysanthemum at the eastern hedge, then the southern mountain arrests my sight. Its air flows dreamily in the clear sunset. Vagrant burns reunite to roost. Significations burn a hole in my desire, but I seek to joust, and my words already snatched. I played this game of life like everyone else, yet the cart and horse clamor me not. How so, how so, rings a chorus like rain. My refuge heart makes distance a place. I pluck a chrysanthemum from the eastern hedge, and mountains loom in the southern gaze. The mountain vapor circles this sunset. A flock of birds returns to roost together. Something speaks a truth inside. Seeking expression, I become aphasic. I built my home on solid ground. The horse and cart will always rattle. But how can you stand the noise? Those with ears to hear, listen. A chrysanthemum sprouts out the eastern hedge, a chrysanthemum I dare to pluck. The distant southern hills take my sight. Mountain air invades my lungs, and cool vapor swirls this balmy globe. Even the vagrant birds sleep together at night. Then some truth pretends importance, riles me. Wanting to explain it, I become mute. I couldn't speak. I wanted to argue, but the words wouldn't come out or even appear. It was clear some truth about the whole thing was apparent, but it wouldn't budge for me. There were flocks of birds returning home to roost. It was sunset, the mountain air was beautiful. It seemed to swirl around me, made me feel like the axis of a spinning top. I gazed at the southern mountain. There was the chrysanthemum I plucked from the eastern hedge, a sliver in my hand. Everything is indifference to a distant heart. Or really, after composure becomes a friend, life doesn't seem so constantly dramatic. Why make such a fuss about self-preservation? What else can one pretend to do? Complain about the noisy neighbors? One can practice love quite a bit, even in this so-called unquiet life. Words felt stuck in my craw, but I was secretly elated. The mountain air provoked my flight. The southern hills were beautiful, not much farther to home to roost. All the beauty of the sunlit twilight reminded me about arguing again, the way I let my heart dwell elsewhere to my wings. The chrysanthemums at the eastern hedge were plucked. The old man was drunk. On the street below, the cart and horses clopped and clipped the road. I found a perch beside my friend. He asked if I was all right. I nodded. The perverse world of culture mingles every vagrant thought and earthquake. Blast it all to hell, to ruin, my indifference exceeds the unquiet bustlings of civilized man. How? Why? Oh my, screeches a familiar disturbance. Not on my watch. I sip chrysanthemum tea in my assigned plot. From the bench, my legs crossed, the distant mountains seem aframe. Everything is beautiful. The air is vapor, and the twilight spins. Though I am set in this pellucid cell, I envy the flock of birds. They roost at night together. Thank you.